Well, last night I found something pretty interesting in the trash. I was driving down my main road up here and had a buddy of mine in the truck. And this guy must be some kind of leprechaun or something, because every time he's in the truck I find something really cool. Or something I've never seen before, as in this case. I found this little 6x6 electric ride-on toy. It's called a Hedstrom Probe VI. It was made in 1984. And apparently these are pretty rare. It's completely covered in sawdust. It had the original batteries in it. And this thing is chain drive. It's chain drive 4-wheel drive. The center wheel is just a trailing wheel, unfortunately. So it's not a true 6-wheel drive, but it's still cool. It's 4-wheel drive, chain drive. So everything seems to be in good shape. Here we go. November of 1984 from the Hedstrom company. Now right off the bat, I pulled the batteries out of it. I'm like, batteries from 1984, they couldn't possibly work. So I put them on the shop floor in the junk pile, and my buddy said, "Hey, why don't you try plugging them in?" Again, I suspect he's some kind of leprechaun, because I plugged them in, and sure as crap, they're freaking charging! Why are they charging? They're the old ones. They have both terminals on one side of the battery. It's covered in the same amount of dirt as the rest of the unit, so I have no reason to believe that these are newer. Plus, they are dated, actually, 1982. So what's going on here? I tried testing the unit with a standard 12-volt battery, just wiring it in the way these two would have, and nothing happened. So I grabbed my trusty fluke, and I found a few problems. First off, the joystick. Let's have a look at the joystick. Okay, this is the joystick board out of the Hedstrom Probe VI 6x6, and I've noticed if you cannot get power to the rear wheels no matter what you do, this is the problem with it. You'll notice on a lot of the contacts you'll have a hole, and that hole, what it does is it's a transfer port for power to jump to this leg on this side, on this lead. So what happens, I've noticed, is the little contact, they're just pressed through, and they're just overlapping and touching. What happens is that little contact inside will burn up, and you will lose continuity between the two halves of the board. So what I've come up with to get your joystick board going again, because I mean these are kind of made of unobtainium, and who wants to try to make a new part, is you take a little bit. I would really recommend some solid core wire, but I'm using stranded because it's all I have. I pulled 4 strands out of this so I could get it through the holes. And when I poke it through the hole a little bit, I will solder it on one side, and I've already done half the board. Now what I did was I took just a continuity meter, and you take the little probes. It's really hard to do this one-handed. You take the probes, and you would test this side against the other side of the hole, and see if it beeps. So let's test a couple. See, now those two were good. What I noticed on this particular unit is this whole area was dead on my board. I could not get a signal from one side to the other, so I really wasn't getting power at all. So if you have one of these and can't get it going, this may be the only way you're going to get it. So get you some wire, get you a soldering iron, and just get to work. Start soldering them in. Okay, I went up to Walmart real quick and I got a fuse block to put in the 6x6 wiring harness. I noticed that online there is a factory recall because these things were bursting into flames. And while looking at the original wiring, this goes into the joystick to bring power, and then from there it transmits power to either motor. But this appears to be some kind of really open like breaker system. It's got a set of points on either side. You have one wire going to this thing, another bridging across, and I guess when these tabs get hot they separate and it shuts the motor off. And I would imagine this thing would start to carbon track after a while, and this thing would probably melt. So I'm going to cut this out, as much as I hate to do it. I know the purists out there are really going to probably not like this, but I'm going to do this as professionally as possible. I have shrink tubing and everything. Everything's going to get soldered, no crimp connectors, so it'll be really tastefully done. I'll bring it over to the bench where we can actually get a better look at it under the light. Take a little flat blade, and what it's got is a couple little breaker points in here that you can actually open up and clean. This is kind of a cheap feeling plastic too, so these would get real damn hot. So I would imagine this is where your fire hazard spawns from. So if you have one of these things, let's go ahead and remove it. Alright? Let's get the fuse block opened up. Get my mini trash can. I'm going to have to take the trash out. But gotta love Dollar Tree. I went with a 30 amp fuse. I'm hoping this is not too strong, but I think it'll be okay. I may step it down to a 20 later, but to start off I'm going to do a 30. Okay. Okay. That will replace this half anyway, and then I just need to hard solder this into the harness. And then this old beast should be ready for service. Hopefully. Okay, get my trusty Master Ultra Torch, which I had rebuilt. It cost me $57. Whistles so you know it starts up. I love it. There we go. That's nicely secured. Okay, well I've got the fuse block installed. It's all wired in to the harness really nicely, shrink tubing, so it doesn't look too bad. I went ahead and cleaned all of the other spade connectors and re-crimped them so they were a real tight fit. So I guess it's time to put it back together and see if it works. So, put that down. This is just kind of testing mode, so I'm not going to put the screws in right now. Put the batteries in, little sideboard here. Okay, so we put it on low, because I don't want this thing taking off too quickly. Back it off. Back it way off. Move out of the way of the shot. And whoa! Thing's really powerful. Now we can clean this thing up. Now it's time to try to get all this dirt off of here that's been accumulating for the last few decades. Well, here she is all cleaned up. No more caked on sawdust grime anywhere. It's actually pretty clean. It's not faded anywhere. Looks nice. I even went ahead and I made a front door out of some really thick plastic. Went ahead and put some Velcro on the back so it'll stick on. I added a plug for a battery tender so I could use like a Schumacher speed charger. Just plugs right in. And a little weird feature is you actually have to turn the unit on before the charger will work. Weird. But it charges up, runs great. I had one of my buddy's kids test it out and really put it through its paces, and we weren't even able to run the batteries down, so there she is, all completed. Not bad for a trash find. Well, let me know what you think of the Hedstrom Probe VI trash find. I think that's pretty dang cool myself. I'm going to let it charge up for a little while and go get this video edited. So thanks for watching as always. Give me a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.